Okay, everybody, welcome to the next episode of Console Clash, and this is the Cube 3 series that introduces you to the best and worst of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. I've got Luke Hemming.
Hello.
Sandy Kirchner-Wilson.
Hey.
And we're here all to discuss the next generation consoles and what it means for pricing. Both of these consoles launched last year, November. Some are priced differently, so we're going to go through that right now. Luke, right now, tell me which one you think is the best bang for your buck. Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. Let me know the prices. What we've got.
So the Series X is £449, and the Series S is £249, which I think is a great idea, putting that much difference. I know that further on in these discussions we'll talk about the hardware, but if you're looking at it purely on a digital versus disc basis, I think that Xbox has PlayStation beat there. It's a lot. It's a yeah. Number one done. They've looked at the. I feel like they've looked at Nintendo and they've looked at that price range. You know, are you going to go for Switch, or maybe you're going to go for an Xbox, which is more powerful than a Switch? You've got your digital only, but I think they did that purposely to lure people in.
With the Xbox Series S at $249, it is cheaper than a Switch by £30, and it's cheaper than a Switch OLED by, Sandy, do the maths, like 60.
I was going to say 70, so yeah,
60, 70, yeah, around that kind of price range.
Something like that.
Maths. You're right. I mean, they've competitively priced a next generation console that does the basic fundamentals to what people want. $249, and the Xbox Series X is at $449. Did you say?
$449, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Sandy, let me know on the other flip side, the PlayStation 5 pricing.
So the PlayStation 5 with the disc drive is $449, matching up with that Xbox Series X price. And their digital edition, so feature complete with the PS5 itself minus the disc drive, is $359. So we're talking just under £100 less.
And now, you mentioned on a previous episode that the discless version, the digital version of the PlayStation 5, is not comparable really to the digital version of the Xbox and the Series S, because the Series S is slightly underpowered. So it's not like you're only missing a disc drive, you are missing a few other things there. We'll get onto that in another point. But what Luke and I just mentioned here about in terms of jumping onto the next generation console bandwagon, which one's cheaper?
I see what you did there. I would still recommend the digital PS5 for people who want a digital next-gen console.
Yeah.
But I know that the Series S is the cheaper out of the two digital offerings. But I would actually recommend going for a disc PS5 if you're going to get one. Just keep physical gaming alive, man.
This is it, isn't it? If you're making that jump, and if you're committed to fully next gen, is less than £100 really such a big deal to get all the same features but with a disc drive? Whereas with the Xbox, if you're dipping your foot in for that first time, if you're looking forward to seeing what next gen is all about, maybe you've come from a Switch background, maybe this is your first time deciding you want a really up-to-date console, that there's no comparison really in the pricing.
Ultimately, you'll probably make your money back on getting cheaper disc games, depending on how many games you get throughout the generation, than buying digital all the time, because digital storefronts don't seem to have deals or bargains as much as you would say at a retailer or online. So over the course of the generation, you'd like to think that you'd make up that discrepancy, but then also have the ownership of the game. So that's useful. I mean, Luke, is there anything that Microsoft do to sort of help coerce people into buying an Xbox, let's say, for a cheaper price?
So they've got some payment plans called the Xbox All Access. So Series X does this for $28.99 a month. You get your full Game Pass Ultimate, so you get access to, I think, over 150 games around there. New games being added all the time. More importantly, games that have just come out, pretty much always on Game Pass now, and you get your console, and you just pay £29 a month for that. So you've got your console, you've got access to all of these games, part of the pricing in your payment plan, and I think 2 years, you said?
Yeah, it's a 24-month plan, and it ultimately ends up being cheaper to buy the Series X or Series S with this payment plan, Xbox All Access, than it does to buy them individually. So if you were to buy them individually and then get Microsoft Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on top, you are paying just a tad more.
It's £9 less as well for the S, $20.99 a month for the S.
So it's just like a mobile phone contract. You get to keep it afterwards as well. It's not. Some people will say, "Oh, if I don't, keep up with the payments, then you probably will get bailiffs knocking on your door." But you do get to keep it afterwards, just like how you would with a cell phone, mobile phone. That's $34.99 a month in the US, and that is $24.99 the Series S. So yeah, it's a brilliant way to get people involved if they don't necessarily have the initial capital to get involved in buying it. PlayStation All Access. Sandy, tell me all about it.
So people would probably like it to be a thing. I've heard various rumors that Sony might start up their own plans, but again, they're rumors. There's no solid, this is the plans that we have. Obviously, the only real caveat to a payment plan is that you're subject to a credit check for the UK one because it's through Klarna or whatever that company is called. So obviously with the PlayStation, you've not got that you don't have to do a credit check to buy one. You just have to have a lot of money to buy one. So it really depends on what people fancy. I mean, I do think PlayStation could offer that kind of plan quite easily.
So, Luke, pricing wise, I mean, I'm not gonna decide this. I'm gonna let you both argue the point. Pricing wise, who deserves a point here in Console Clash? Luke?
I think it depends on if you're a seasoned gaming veteran or if you are somebody who's excited by this new generation of consoles. If you're looking to dip your foot in, then definitely I think the Xbox has got it, takes the point. But you could definitely argue the case, I think, with you're expected to pay the price that you're going to pay for a next-gen console. So it's really going to be your preference when it comes to a PS5 or an Xbox. But if your families, if your kids are begging you for a new console, you don't want to put that, throw that £500 down, that 450 quid, but you still want them to have that next-gen experience, as well as not having to worry about buying them games. They're going to have access to hundreds of games every month, anything new that they're excited about, and big hitting games as well, Forza, stuff like that. Then yeah, I think Microsoft has it then.
Sandy?
So I think the only real counterpoint to that is, so I think Xbox Series S is where someone who's maybe uninitiated in gaming would hop in. They'd go, oh, my children really want to play games. I've never owned games before. The Xbox is $250. I'll buy one of those. But if those parents have, say, a history with saying Final Fantasy or something like that, they might be more inclined to drop the extra 100 and buy the PS5. Maybe not for a child. I wouldn't buy a child any of these things. But I think when it comes to the big full feature consoles, they're neck and neck. I mean, same price, and they both have essentially the same access to third-party games.
Right, let's call it a draw. I don't think there is a way to get a point here, because you're right, both of the top-end consoles, the disc versions, are the same price. And I think to draw comparisons between the Series S and PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is a bit hairy, really, because you get slightly different deals there. But let's call this a draw. I think Xbox All Access does help somewhat give Microsoft half a point, maybe, but that's not available worldwide. It's only available for credit checks, etc. So yeah, let's call it a draw. That's probably not what you guys wanted to hear. You probably wanted to hear more.
Let's cop out. It's a draw.
Yeah, draw. But no, that's all we've got for this episode of Console Clash. But we will be back, and we will be more flashy next episode. That's for sure. But guys, thank you very much for joining. But for now, that's everything.